So first of all, we're going to go to George, who's going to share his biggest takeaway from the last few weeks and 3 top tips to help us approach the future. So thank you for joining us, George. Over to you.
Thank you for having me, Julia. And I did cut this myself, believe it or not, but I cut it to about there, and then I did have a bit of help with the bits I couldn't see. As is the case, who would have thought we would have ever been in a place where we were cutting our own hair and doing our own dentistry? Anyway, that's the world we live in right now, and that's why obviously we're on this webinar, because everything's gone a little bit mental, upside down. Julia's absolutely 100% right. We can't sit around waiting anymore. I know some people are still thinking, let's wait for the world to come back to normal and I can go back to normal. That obviously isn't happening anytime soon. So we have to go out and work with what we have right now. So my biggest takeaway actually is what I've seen. So like 10 years, right? 10 years we've been going BBB. For over 8 years, we've been running success groups and our masterminds. So we've always really heavily pushed the power of a community. And what I've seen is not just within our own community, but how important the community has been over the past, nearly 3 months now. And those people that are in the right communities, the communities that make them feel better about what they're doing, that push them, that empower them, that educate them, where you're part of a team spirit that moves forward. I've really seen that absolute, almost like the movement that we've been on for the last 10 years really just show the power of itself, not just within, our own company, but just out there generally, just the power of being in the right communities with the right people. So for me, I always say this, it's never great going it alone, but in a really good economy, going it alone, you can get away with it. I think what we're going into right now, you need to find your tribe. You need to find your people that inspire you, people that make you want to be better, do better, people that motivate you and drive you. But also support you through the tough times and that. And I think if you're not part of that kind of community right now, you need to go out and find your tribe. You need to go and find those people who are going to nurture you and support you, but also going to give that kick up the arse that you might need to do some of the things you might not want to do, that you're going to have to do moving forward with what we're now currently facing, that we're staring down the barrel at. So for me, my number one takeaway is just the evidence out there of just how powerful being part of the right community is. I'm lucky to have a number of you on this panel right now to be part of that community as well. And I promise you, my community, I've supported it, but I promise you, it's supported me every bit as much as we've been supporting it through these tough times. So that's been my biggest takeaway. If you're not part of it, if you're not part of a community now, go and find one. If you are part of one that doesn't make you feel great or isn't inspiring you in the right ways, go and find the one that is going to do that for you. My 3 things, however, because I only have a few minutes, I appreciate it. I could talk all day on this stuff. My 3 things. Okay, number 1, I've been pushing this all day long. Sales. Okay, we're going to hear in a minute about sales, I'm sure. But here's the thing. You're going to have to sell yourself out of this mess, right? It's as simple as that. Now, sales isn't just cold calling. It's going to be referrals, and it's going to be having partners and all these sort of things. But I tell you now, we've been given a gift over the past few months by the government. We've been given, the most crazy, insane loans that I think has ever been invented. You fill out a form and 50 grand turns up in your account. This is artificially propping up a situation that exists out there right now. The reason that's been happening is because many more businesses would be out of business right now. If it wasn't for furlough, if it wasn't for grants, if it wasn't for the loans, there would be many, many more businesses right now that would be already flat on their back within 2 to 3 months. That money's drying up. It's dried up. If we go into another lockdown, I'm not sure it's going to come back. I'll be honest with you. I can't see how they can find the money again. You've got to sell, and selling is what's going to wean you off the bosom of the government. You don't want to be beholden to the government, loans, grants. You don't want to be in that place. Take what you can, take what you need, take what's on offer. By all means, we have, and I think you should. But sales is what's going to get you to wean yourself off of that bosom of the government. And fundamentally, to go out there and to be masters of our own destiny and everything else. And most small businesses and stuff, they don't have a brilliant sales game. So by upping their sales game, they're going to massively improve their chances of not just surviving, but going on and thriving. My second thing is very much closely related to that, which is positioning and niching. I think you cannot get away with being a generalist at the best of times. In a good market, you can be lazy at sales. You can be lazy with marketing. in what we're going in. And let's be honest, Julia painted a very nice picture there. We are tanking. America's talking about a second Great Depression. We're talking about global recession. We're talking about the worst economy known in history. So let's spell that out and let's deal with what we're facing here right now. In that kind of shitstorm, you're not going to get away with being a generalist anymore. You're going to have to niche, maybe even super niche in there. And then you need to position yourself in that marketplace so that your audience sees you above the noise. It's going to get chaotic. There's going to be 1,000 people in your industry running around like headless chickens. You need to be the ones that have got your messaging on point, your niching on point, your positioning on point, so that your audience can see you amongst the noise that is almost definitely going to be coming soon, which is everyone just desperate for business. And the very last one is beyond partnerships. I've been talking a lot about partnerships and partnering up and JVs. Again, you're going to climb this really steep mountain, this really tough terrain, which is the economy we're facing right now. You don't want to go it alone. You want to have the right people around you, the right partnerships. And what I've been talking about more recently is what I've been pushing for a little while actually, is this concept of business ecosystem. So rather than just a straight joint venture where you pass leads around and you might do you kind of just trying to find clients for each other, or you just offload your clients that you don't want. That's one part of partnering. But I do believe we're going into a new era of entrepreneurship and business. And I think it's the ecosystems that are going to work, just like us with the planet. You can't just take and take and take. It has to be something where you put in as much as what you're taking out. Then you create a sustainable model for businesses. So for me, it's finding those people that share your values, that have commonality in like your overall jigsaw puzzle, so you fit together neatly together, and together you're stronger, and together you support each other. But also it's one where everyone thrives because everybody in that survives, and it's less about competition and me beating other people, and it's more about us as a community coming together to survive this. And I've been saying for a while now, I think the age of pure competition is gone. Competition will always be there, but I think the age of competition has got to be over, because I need every other business owner around me to survive this as well, because we need to create an entrepreneurial landscape in the future that we can all survive in and thrive in. And we can't do that in a cutthroat nature that maybe we have been in for the last maybe 10 years or so, where the strongest survives and all this sort of stuff. What's the point in surviving if you're the only one? So we need that, the whole entrepreneurial landscape, I think, to shift slightly and to come together and realize that even my most fiercest of allies, my most fiercest of enemies is now my ally. There's a great saying, right, which is my enemy's enemy is my ally. It was a great quote, and I ruined it in the last line. My enemy's enemy is my ally. I think it's something like that, right? Or my enemy's enemy is my friend. And that's what it is. The terrain, the landscape, the recession, whatever the hell's coming down the line, that is our common enemy as all business owners, and therefore together we are all allies. I don't know if that's 5 minutes, probably more, Julia, but there you go. It's good.
Slightly more, but thank you all. Absolutely worthwhile. And, thank you, George. I agree. I've been using big business ecosystem for a while now as well. And I think, we have our own business ecosystem here. The panelists on this session are a business ecosystem. But I do think that people find it quite hard to shift from that competitive mindset into a collaborative mindset. And I think that us doing this is showing that it's really positive, and I think there are many positive groups out there that are doing a similar thing. So absolutely brilliant, and of course BBB is one of those. So thank you, George. Words of wisdom as always. Thank you.